Thank you. Thank you. My name's Des. I'm from New York. Spent most of my life in Ireland, and I do comedy in Mandarin Chinese. Any Chinese people here? 哇，挺好。你是哪里的？那你是中国哪里的？什么地方？哦，你不是说中文吗？ Oh, you can't speak Chinese? That's no problem. Neither can the rest of these people. They are not prepared for the future like I am. I feel like a round of applause nearly happened there, and then people went, actually, this is not good news. So people wonder why I can do comedy in Chinese. Well, actually, I moved to Beijing in 2013. I was making a TV show, and the mission was arrive in Beijing without a word of Chinese, and then a year later, do stand-up in Mandarin for a Chinese audience in China. People thought I was crazy. They were like, why China? You can't say anything there with the censorship. But actually, it's not as different as you think. You know, like, say, comedy in America, comedy in China, it's very similar. You know, like in America, you can make fun of the American government. In China, you can make fun of the American government. It's the same. So I had to do all these challenges to help me learn the language. So one of the things I did was I got a job for a month in a Chinese restaurant. Now, you don't have to call it a Chinese restaurant there. It's just a restaurant. But just so you know, I was in like a family-run restaurant in Heilongjiang, and I was a Yinbing Yuan, right? So that's a welcomer, right? Customers walk in, and I would shout as loud as possible, 欢迎光临, which means you're very welcome. You know, it's not like a host. You know, it's not like, how many people in your party? Because there's only one party in China. It's more like... It's like a shouter, you know, like every day, 欢迎光临. And of course I was terrible at it, because every day I'd be like, 欢迎光临, and the customers would be like, whoa, oh, your Chinese is so good. And I'd be like, then why are you speaking English? I would have thought if my Chinese was good, you would have spoken Chinese, but they love it when a white guy can speak Chinese. Like, you could learn ni hao off Dora the Explorer, go to Beijing tomorrow and be like, ni hao, and they'd be like, whoa, oh, your Chinese is so good. Which makes me feel terrible, because we don't give a crap when they speak English. I could be on Little Burke Street tomorrow, Chinese person come up to me like, excuse me, where tram? I'm never like, whoa! Oh, your English is so good! Wow! 你说的英文特别好，我靠，我靠. No, I'm just like, it's over there. And you're missing a verb. Not because I'm an asshole. Not because I'm an asshole, by the way. That's the Chinese way. You know that. They're very direct. You know, the Chinese people, they're not worried about offending you in China. It's just like if it's in their head, it's coming out of their mouth. You know, like if you're fat in China, they'll just be like, oh, you are so fat. And if you get offended, they'll be like, well, don't be fat. I don't understand this. You know, you made yourself fat, right? You know. It's great. Speaking Chinese is great, man. You know, people always ask me, are they talking about us? That's what, white people always want to know, are they talking about us? You know, and they are. You know, they call us la wai. In China, white people are la wai. It's not a negative term. It just means foreigner, right? It just means you're not from here. You're a la wai. But then they immigrate to Australia, they immigrate to the United States, and they still call us la wai. I'll be ordering some dumplings. You know, one of them will go, oh, those dumplings are for the la wai. And I'll be like, hey, we're in America. You're the la wai. And they'll be like, oh, there. Well, we are the la wai. Whoa. Whoa, your Chinese is so good. Whoa. So it's a real story. You can Google it. You know, I did that job for a full month up in Heilongjiang every day. 欢迎光临. Every day I did that job. And 3 weeks into it, I had an amazing cultural experience. These two drunken Chinese guys walked in. I did my best. 欢迎光临. And one of them, really loudly, in front of the whole restaurant goes, 欢迎光临. And there's a shit version of my shit Chinese. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute, buddy. You cannot 欢迎光临 me. I'm the only white guy in this tiny Chinese city of 1.3 million people. Yeah? You cannot 欢迎光临 me. That's racist, yeah? Because if I was in New York or Melbourne and I walked into the Chinese restaurant and the welcomer was like, oh, you are very welcome. And I went, oh, you are very welcome. Welcome to our restaurant. You want a fried rice? Well, I'd be arrested. So don't 欢迎光临 me. I'll tell you right now, buddy, you're lucky. You're lucky I'm a comedian, because I would have been upset, except the minute that you said that, I couldn't help but think, this story's gonna rip it when I take it to Melbourne in 2019. So thanks to him, and thanks to you guys. 谢谢，感谢你们，谢谢。